All right, class, we're going to do Unit 5, Section 6, solving systems of linear inequalities. Okay, so a system of linear inequalities is two or more linear inequalities, and the solution of the systems of linear inequalities is the shaded area that is overlapped when graphing. Okay, so when we solve systems and systems of equations and we graph those lines, where they intersect is a point. Okay, so when we solve systems of linear inequalities, it's going to be a set of points that they overlap. So we're going to skip the steps, start on the first one, and we'll come back to those steps. Okay, so to graph these, we need to identify our slope and our y-intercept. Okay, well, on this first one, our slope is -1/1, and our y-intercept is +2. Okay, so let's go ahead and graph that. So at +2, and down 1, right 1. Okay, now when we graph this inequality, is it going to be a solid or dotted line? Well, it's greater than or equal, so we're going to have a solid line. So this line is part of your solution set. Okay, now let's go ahead and test this one. Let's test the origin right here. So when y is 0 and x is 0, is 0 greater than or equal to +2? And that is incorrect. So here is your solution set. Goes this way. Okay? Now, on the second inequality, we need to isolate our variable y. So let's go ahead and do that by subtracting 2x from both sides. And then we need to divide each term by 4. So my slope is -1/2, and my y-intercept is 1. So let's graph this one. Y-intercept is +1, and my slope is down 1, right 2. Or I can go up 1, left 2. Okay, when I graph this line, it is less than, so we need to use a dotted line. Let's use a different color here. Okay. Now we got to test this one and see where our solution set is. So let's test it in red. And it looks like we can test the origin again, okay? So let's test it with our second inequality. So when x is 0, y is 0. So I have 0 plus 0 is 0 less than 4, and that is correct. So my solution set goes this way. Okay, so guys, do you all see where they overlap? Where the green and red overlap? So if I erase where they don't overlap, you'll see that this is my solution set right here. Okay, so let's pick a point in there. So let's see, this point right here. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 8, negative 5. Okay? So we got to test this on both. So when y is greater than or equal to negative x plus 2, so it's negative 5 greater than or equal to negative 8 plus 2. So it's negative 5 greater than negative 6. Check. Let's check the second inequality. So 2 times 8 plus 4 times y. And it needs to be less than 4. So 2 times 8 is 16. 4 times a negative 5 is a negative 20. Okay, so I have negative 4 less than 4. Is negative 4 less than 4? Check. So this point is part of our solution. So your solution, when we are solving systems of inequalities, is just this shaded area right here. Everything else you want to erase. Alrighty, so let's go back up to the steps. Alright, graph the first line. Pay attention to the inequality symbol, whether it's dotted or solid. So the first line is this black one, and it was solid because it's greater than or equal. Test a possible solution and shade the appropriate first line, and we did that. It was green. Okay. Graph the second line. Pay close attention whether it's dotted or solid. It's less than, so it is dotted. Graph the appropriate area. It was red. Okay. Find the shaded solution area that is common to each where it overlaps, which is this right here. Leave only the solution-aided area, erase the others. And then what you can do also is test a point within that shaded region and substitute it into both inequalities and make sure you get a true inequality. All right, so let's do another one. Okay. Identify your slope and your y-intercept. Okay, this is less than, so I'm going to use a dotted line. All right, and I need to test, so let's test the origin here. And your first inequality. Okay, so is 0 less than 3? Check. So what that means is this is the solution side. Okay? Now, we need to isolate our variable y on this one. So let's add 2x. So my slope is 1/2, and my y-intercept is 0. So from here, are we going to have a solid or dotted line that is greater than or equal, so it's going to be solid? Kind I messed up there on the end. Let's just leave it and move on. Okay, now let's test the solution. So it's right on the origin. So let's go above it. Oh, let's test this point right here. So that's 0, 1. And our second inequality. So when x is 0, y is 1. So is 4 greater than or equal to 0, and 4 is greater, so this point is part of our solution, so we got to go this way. Okay, so where do they overlap? Take that out, and we can take this out. And let's test a point here where they overlap. So let's test this point right here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is -5, 0. Let's test this. Let's go down here and test it. Okay, so for our first inequality, y less than -x plus 3. Okay, y is 0. X is -5. Well, this is the opposite of a -5, which is a +5. So is 0 less than or equal to 8? Check. Now we got to test the second inequality. -2x plus 4y greater than or equal to 0. So x is -5 and y is 0. So -2 times a -5 is 10. 4 times 0 is 0. Is 10 greater than 0? Check. So it worked for both. Alright guys, I'm going to have to stop the video and do a second part here.